Okay, when you think of a unicorn, you probably think of a mythical horse with a horn standing in front of a rainbow, majestically playing rave music. Yes, that's a unicorn, and not this, am I right? LP unicorns are weird, and I'll explain not only how, but why. What is a unicorn's true purpose in equestrian society? And how and why did they have the worst downfall ever? Get your kid ass out of here. Hello, I'm Discord Jedi Knight, and if I asked you to just think of a unicorn, what comes to your mind? Probably mythical creatures, right? Right. A horse with a horn on its head, magic, and maybe some size old wizard-type stuff that you can hardly understand. And yeah, when you watch MLP on a surface level, everything matches what you'd obviously expect. We've got magic wisdom, and in mythical unicorns, magic almost always results in the eccentric. The next thing you'd expect is for them to be these book reading, spell-casting ponies speaking in rhymes and riddles, spouting nonsense about Horus and voodoo. Anyone would expect that. But that is not even close to what we actually get out of MLPG for unicorns. Instead, they are scientific intelligent. They use magic and potions, yes, but they are highly experimental and far more advanced than any of the other tribes in Equestria. The whole thing completely contradicts itself. After all, we literally see Twilight, a unicorn with magic and spells, cast doubt on Pinky sense, a type of eccentric voodoo she can't explain. Twilight tries to scientifically get to the bottom of it. That's just it. G4. It's the oddest detail I've ever seen in a show about magic. A magic user, a mage or wizard, if you doesn't act like the eccentric spellcaster you'd expect. Instead, she has a scientific mind. You'd expect an Earth pony to be like that. And yes, we do have some exceptions. Not all Earth ponies are country, and not all unicorns are scientifically advanced. What most of them are adds an even stranger aspect to this whole conversation. Well, let me ask you this, in My Little Pony, who is considered the high class. The ones with clothes despite being horses. The ones with scientific minds despite using magic. Exactly. Exactly. The question is why. Why, among the three races, are the unicorns specifically the most advanced civilization? Not just ponies, but unicorns. To answer this, we have to go back into the history of Equestria. No, even further back than that, before Celestia's reign. We find it in ancient times, the three pony tribes played a unique role in nature. All of them needed to contribute to society or the whole thing would fall apart, and that's how we ended up with Wendigo S. Yes, but the question is, what role did the unicorns specifically play? Earth ponies control the crops, growing food and taking care of the earth. Pegasus take care of the weather, bringing clouds to rain and water the lands. And the unicorns, they controlled the day and night cycle, literally pooling all their magic together to move the sun and moon. Then the princesses showed up. Two alicorns with 10, if not 100 times more magical power than regular unicorns. And I know what you're thinking. Is Celestia really that strong? The answer is yes. She just uses all her strength on the sun, so she's usually weak once that's done. Still, with her around, what are those lazy unicorns going to do now? They don't need to spend all day focusing on the sun and moon. Instead, they have free time. I like how that reflects humans, as we were once hunters and then gatherers, and when technology got better, more people could relax and shift their attention to unique hobbies like art. And so did the unicorns. Unicorns aren't just the high class, they're the ones moving Equestria forward. They're the ones who began art, created the fashion industry, and began to plan schedules for the other ponies, telling them what to do and what not to do. Without Princess Sunbud and Luna, the unicorns would have never developed high-class fashion or trains. Yeah, that's right. It wasn't the Earth ponies that made the trains. It was the unicorns who invented the unique technology in MLP, creating an industrial revolution in a sorts. After all, despite the old-fashioned small towns and ancient castles, MLP shows they are actually very modern in tech. I believe the reason is the unicorns making life much easier for everyone. Yeah, it's kind of funny how other ponies pretty much just take advantage of the unicorns. Yeah, and then they ruined it. I should address that. I do not like to use my channel to spread hate and division. I prefer to talk about what we love and have in common, which is, of course, and LP specifically G4. I have made a video talking about my personal thoughts on G5, and no, they haven't changed and probably never will. This video isn't an attempt to spread hatred, but to talk about an interesting subject within the MLP community from my viewpoint. I wanted to make that clear before moving forward. But I think that's what G5 got wrong the most. Instead of a high-class society with advancing ideals, they made the unicorns what we actually expected them to be, those eccentric voodoo wizards living in the trees. I think My Little Pony. G5 honestly just didn't understand the vast amount of in-universe backstory and world-building G4 had. It felt like an absolute letdown because it couldn't live up to our expectations. And honestly, seeing the greatest of the ponies become what they did, I have to admit it, just was heartbreaking in many ways. Instead of progressing into like a crew of tech-advanced ponies, almost now, I could argue a case where activist striders were taking the high class and putting them in their place. But in reality, I think that's looking too far into it. Despite Sunny clearing being one, and in many instances wrong in her way of thinking. And if you're wondering how Sunny was wrong, for one example, she said that the pony factory belongs to the town when in fact it was a private space of Spout and his family. But I don't think the show writers were trying to make a political statement and put the snobby high class in their place, which a lot of activists strive to do today. And I can't deny that on paper what in looks, but no, the reality was that the writers of the show just did what we expect when we hear the word unicorn. Ancient wizards living in the woods? G5 really wasn't that woke or problematic in terms of storytelling. It's just they didn't really know a thing about G4. This is why I will always say that G5 is not canon to G4. As a standalone series, it doesn't stand a chance against G4, but it's a decent separate universe. I think if they never tried to connect to G4 and made it its own unique show, I would have liked it a lot more. This is the mistake I'm hoping G6 doesn't make. I'm really interested in seeing what they do. Will it be a G4 reboot or an entirely new series? What will the three tribes look like and how will they act in a whole new world? We'll see. Yeah, that's the thing. The live-action movie sounds like a bad idea, and even I must admit, it sounds bad on paper, but I'm willing to give it a chance if only to explore something new, even if we do go back to G for doing something new with it, right? Hopefully. Yeah, that's the fascinating part of MLP, how it truly supports expectations. But it does it in such a way that it actually goes above and beyond. The fact that the unicorns have such a fascinating history within, but that's what I like about MLP. Despite being a girls' show, despite its eye-burning bright colors, in reality it's not about silly girls talking about boys in dresses, but a unique world full of deep characters. And if you want my thoughts on the main six, feel free to check out this video here. Like, share, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts on anything I had to say. And don't ever forget, my friends, friendship in science is magic.